Hey everyone, it's Aubrey, recovering perfectionist, queen of distraction, and today we are going to be chatting about 25 things that I am not buying in 2025. A little over 2 years ago, at the end of 2022, I made my first YouTube video, 10 things that I am not buying in 2023. And that was a time of my life where I was really trying to get a grasp on my impulse buying and just regain a sense of control when it came to my spending. I was a sucker for sales and sponsored ads, and just on a whim, I would decide that I needed something, and more often than not, I would end up regretting it down the road, feeling guilty for wanting to get rid of it, but then feeling guilty for keeping it. And as I went through 2023, not purchasing those initial 10 things, as the year progressed and we got into spring, I noticed other temptations that I would get drawn toward, especially when it came to clothing or interior design, but really the category list could go on and on. And then that evolved into spending temptations in summer and then fall and winter. And I did do a things I'm not buying video for 2024. But I think that just by declaring all of those things that I was going to avoid for that year has made me so much more aware and intentional of the purchases that I am actually willing to follow through with. And a lot of these things are just items that I don't buy anymore, whether it's because I've found a more sustainable alternative or I've just decided that I do not need these items in my life for whatever reason. Obviously, the less you buy, the more you save. And just as my life progresses, aspiring to be a minimalist, I'm just continuing to realize day in and day out that less is more. So without further ado, let's chat about the 25 things that I am not buying in 2025. First thing is bed linens. At this moment in time, I've simplified our bedding to 2 sets of sheets and pillowcases for each of my boys, 3 sets of sheets and 2 duvet covers for my husband and I, but I do think that I am going to be eliminating a set and a duvet cover in the future. And then another thing that I am just absolutely done buying, throw blankets and pillows. Now, while my boys do have a few smaller blankets of their own, and I have a throw blanket in the living room and a few throw pillows, I had just found, especially over the course of summer when my son was home, and this was after I had added a couple new throw pillow additions to my living room, I got really sick and tired of cleaning up 5 throw pillows. They never stayed on the couch how I laid them out. They were constantly on the floor. They were getting played with. And I don't mind my kids playing with the things in the house, but just narrowing it down to like the 3 throw pillows in the couch, that was just fine. And anything more than that was just absolute overkill. I do not have any throw pillows on my bed. I do have a couple larger pillows on my bed that I ultimately end up just throwing on the floor at night. But even those I'm having certain feelings about right now. And then kind of keeping things in the linen categories, I am not buying any bath towels this year. And I am declaring this because of a specific scenario that just happened recently. I had gotten an email from somebody offering me a free bath mat in exchange for a video about it. And it was a really cute bath mat, but it doesn't go with the towels that I have now. And that led me to getting this free bath mat to spending an hour on the internet looking at new bath towels that I really don't need. My bath towels are old and a little bit worn, but they work. I have 2 boys that are wonderful but filthy creatures. And right now at this point in my life, I do not need to spend any money on any bath towels that are nicer than what we have, because what we have is 100% functional and serves us just fine. Item number 4, Knickknacks. In the past, and this is something that I've really come to terms with recently, I have a hard time avoiding little trinkets because, I can get this little trinket for a very small price and I can place it somewhere in my house and it's going to look cute and adorable. But you know what's going to happen later? I'm going to end up shuffling it around when I'm dusting, and having scenarios like this with just a couple plants and candlesticks and not a bunch of tchotchkes all over the place, it helps keep cleaning simple, which helps me stay sane. And that's, really what it's all about. The less I have to clean and dust, the happier I am. And then as we roll into number 5, we're going to chat a little bit about candles. No more candlesticks. I'm not allowed to buy any more candlesticks. I will allow myself to buy some more of my tapered beeswax candles. But when I say candles, I'm also going to be referring to candles in a thing, primarily because I have enough candle making supplies that I can make my own candles. It is a hobby that I've taken on a couple years ago that I do actually really enjoy. I don't get to do it necessarily as much as I would like to, but also there are only so many candles that I can be burning in my house at any given time. My 3-year-old just constantly wants to blow them out anyway. So over the course of 2025, no candlestick holders, no scented candles. I will be making those on my own with my candle making supplies that I already have. Number 6 is holiday decor. Really, I guess winter time is the only time I really decorate, and that I do try to keep as minimal as possible. I do have a few little knickknacks that I put throughout the house, but primarily everything is going on our tree, and then maybe a couple things on the walls. But for the most part, just the less that I have to put up, the less that I have to take down. And there's a part of me that does think it's a little bit silly to be spending so much money on decor that you can really only display in your house for a very short period of time. But I also feel this way because I have found so much joy over the course of the last couple of years making holiday decor with my kids, whether that's this super fun acorn mushroom garland that we made last year using literally just things that we had found out in our yard. We have dehydrated oranges with gingerbread salt dough ornaments and cedar that I put above our kitchen window. And I have found just a lot of joy and pride in making things. And I do really feel that that is just kind of the cozy, like cottagecore kind of style that I really do prefer when it comes to holiday or winter decor. And then not just, Christmas, winter, but Halloween, or I guess I really don't decorate for Halloween. We decorate for fall. Any pumpkins that we grow go on our front porch or get placed throughout the house. And that is the extent of our fall decor. All right, number 7 is cleaning tools. So I'm talking like your toilet brushes, the things that you're scrubbing with. And I feel like for myself personally, I have really recently come across a lot of really cute cleaning tools. And while I'm totally down for something that you use on a really regular basis to be aesthetically pleasing, because I do find myself that I am more likely to enjoy the process of using something if I like the way, my gadget looks, but also my plastic scrubby IKEA brush, it works just fine. I do not need to throw them away just to spend money on something else that might look nicer. Now in the future, when the things need to get replaced, like I said, I might upgrade when it comes to aesthetics, but for now, I need to just be content with what I have. So number 8 is seeds. And for some of you, this might feel a little bit random, but if you've been with me for any period of time, you know that I garden. If you're interested, check out my weekly garden tours from the last 2 years. But as silly as it may seem for somebody who doesn't garden, I have such a hard time this time of year when the seed catalogs start coming out. It's one of the hardest things for me to say no to. I want to buy all the things, I want to grow all the things, but this year I really need to rein myself back if I am going to grow anything, because I have talked about not doing a full-blown garden this upcoming year. I need to use what I have, and because of past seed impulse purchases, I will be just fine with what I do have. Alrighty, so number 9, not necessarily a specific item, but I guess more of a category, zero waste things that make my life harder. I went through a very big phase of wanting everything to be zero waste and having literally everything be reusable. But over the course of the last few years, and again, especially adding a second child into the mix, I have realized that there are just certain things that I can't get on board with when it comes to reusable things. Basically, if I have to wash something by hand, it's a no-go for me. For the longest time, I was really trying to avoid using plastic bags, and I had reusable bags that were just constantly on the counter because I was too tired to wash them. If I can't throw it in the dishwasher and get it actually clean, it's a no-go for me. And for the most part, I do try and reuse the Ziploc bags that I get. So sorry, planet. While originally I had really wanted to make some positive changes when it came to my plastic use and whatnot, it really did not have a positive impact on my mental health. So maybe in the future, I'll be using beeswax wraps and reusable Ziplocs left and right. But right now, at this moment in life, it is not happening. Okie dokie. So number 10, baked goods. Now, for the most part, I really do make all of my own desserts and bread. I did recently cave at the store and I bought myself a couple loaves of sourdough because I was too scared to make my own loaves. But last week, I finally braved my first loaf and I have since made 3 loaves of subpar sourdough. And while I do really enjoy baking, I do sometimes find myself tempted by things at the grocery store, basically because of whatever craving I might happen to be having at that moment. So I need to just say no to that. Anything baked that I want, I need to just be having it at home. I will say I really haven't dabbled in hot dog buns yet. If anybody has a good hot dog bun recipe, let me know, because hot dog buns and hamburger buns might end up having to be an exception for the rule for the summer for my own sanity and well-being. Alrighty, so 11 is tea. This was one of my things on my list back on my 2023 list, and I'm bringing it back again this year because my tea collection has gotten a little bit out of hand. I just need to power through what I have before I'm adding anything else to that mix. Number 12 is streaming services. We are doing just fine with Prime, which we get free from my cell phone service, and Netflix, which we get free from my husband's cell phone service. So between Prime and Netflix, it works for the minimal TV time we are actually having. Back in November, we had done a no screen November and portion of December. I still need to sit down and film the video for that. It was really a life-changing experience. So stay tuned for when I, eventually get to sit down and chat about how that all went and how it's impacted our lives since. Alrighty, number 13, anything from sponsored ads. This was something that was on my list in the past as well, and it's just something that I've really tried hard to stick by. Over the last 2 years, I have not bought anything from a sponsored ad except for once. I bought a grounding mat for my bed, which I'm probably going to end up selling because one of those too good to be true kind of things. But I am very proud just to have that one hiccup over the course of the last 2 years. I've just really come to terms with the fact that the internet is just constantly tricking you into buying things. And that brings us to number 14, which I guess is a little bit more of a philosophy to live by and less of an item. And this is something that I really have been trying to do recently, is if there is something that I would like to purchase, I'm checking secondhand websites like Mercari, Poshmark, or Facebook Marketplace to see if the item that I am looking for is available secondhand for a lower price. Now, if I'm not able to find it for a lower price than new retail, I'm trying to save $1 here, so I'll buy it new. But if I am able to find whatever I'm looking for in new or good condition, I am more than willing to buy it secondhand, especially if it saves me money. So 15 is YearSpecific Planners. If I had $1 for every planner that I have purchased that I thought was going to change my ADHD brain and magically make me organized, I'd probably have like $10. I will say the best planner that I have ever found in my entire life that I'm still using currently does say 2022 on the front, but it's a week specific planner that I got at Target, and it is broken down. There's literally not any single mention of a month in this entire thing. Just you open it up, your right page it says week of, it's blank, so you get to fill in whatever the week is. And then each day there's 6 bullets, so the to-do list isn't super overwhelming. And then the left side is just notes, just a blank sheet for you to put whatever you need, whether that's a grocery list or this, that, and the other. And having a planner that's set up like that has been so wonderful for me, because while there have been times in my life where I don't use it as much as I had in the past, if I skip a month, it's not a big deal because it's not dedicated to a specific month or a week. It's just blank. I would even buy the same thing over again with it saying 2022 on the front. So that's that. And then I guess kind of keeping things in the office theme. Number 16 is notepads, notebooks, sticky notes. I'm not allowed. I need to use what I have. I'm just such a sucker for a cute notebook, and I've seen these really beautiful floral print decomposition notebooks at Target, and I just want them all. But just because the notebook has a picture of a hydrangea on it or a squash bloom doesn't mean it is going to work any better for me than the random less desirable notebooks that I currently have in my collection. Okay, 17, magazines, books. I don't do it anymore. I'm not opposed to buying the boys a couple books here and there. If there's something that we get from the library that one of them really latches onto, I will add it to our personal collection, but I do not buy books for myself anymore. I get everything from the library. All of my audiobooks I listen to on Libby, and that has just saved me so much money. And not just money, but it saved me the experience of guilt that I have when I come across a book that I got with really great intentions, but I just don't utilize it like I imagined at the point of purchase. Alrighty, number 18, exercise equipment or programs. Back in 2016, when I was a young wee mom, I bought the 21 Day Fix program, and I still have access to that online. So this year, if I do decide to exercise, instead of getting sucked into some random workout program on the internet like I did last year, or buying an exercise bike like I did last year and then selling it because you didn't use it like I did a couple weeks ago, I have a few sets of weights. I have the workout program that I know has worked really well for me in the past. So this year I am just not allowing myself to get sucked into anything when it comes to exercise, fitness, this, that, or the other. Just no. Number 19 is art and hobby supplies. Now, over the course of the last couple of years, I think that I've really actually narrowed down my hobbies to the things that I'm actually doing, while I still in my mind desperately want to become an expert embroiderer. I want to become really good at embroidery, but it's not happening. I can, however, make candles and I can make soap. Those are two things that I don't spend as much time doing as I would like to, but they are hobbies that I've actually found time to invest time in over the course of the last couple of years. And if for whatever reason I do utilize all of the soap making or candle making supplies that I do have, and I am in a situation where, we need more soap, I can buy more soap making supplies. And I think that this is kind of one of those things that I need to rope the boys in with as well. There are just a lot of random little art kits that we've acquired over the course of the last few months. I really just need to come to terms with the fact that the things that they use are crayons, markers, glue, tape, and construction paper, and eliminate everything else. Alrighty, with number 20, we're kind of getting into the skincare, beauty, clothing department. So number 20 is duplicate skincare. And with duplicate skincare, I'm talking about things like having 2 different lotions that do the exact same thing, or having 5 different kinds of masks when really you could narrow it down to 1 or 2. And then not just that, but really getting in the habit of using what I have before I feel the need to seek out something new. These are habits that I've gotten a lot better about over the course of the last couple of years. Back in ye olden days, it was FabFitFun boxes with skincare left and right, Ipsy bags, and my makeup and skincare inventory was just completely overwhelming. I was not using what I had, and then I was feeling guilty that I didn't use what I have. And while I wanted to throw things away and part with them, there was that shame with the money that I spent and, you know, the waste and whatnot that goes along with throwing away a half-used bottle of whatever. So moving forward, using what I have and keeping the quantity of what I have as minimal as possible. Alrighty, number 21, if you're my dad, or I guess a guy that doesn't want to hear about lady business, plug your ears. So back in 2019, I bought my first silicone cup, and I will say it has absolutely changed my life in the period department. I don't have cramps anymore, and obviously I'm not spending a ridiculous amount of money each month on tampons. And then on top of that silicone cup, I did also invest in just, I think, Hanes like period underwear that I've had for, I think, the last year that have held up wonderfully. Those 2 things I am actually going to link in the description. They are just 2 products that I have used for a very significant period of time now that I very much recommend to anybody with a uterus. Alrighty, number 22 is kind of weirdly specific. Clothing with anything more than a 37% polyester content. And the reason that I came up with 37% is because 2 shirts that I have that I really like that are a cotton polyester blend, the polyester content in that particular shirt is 37%. And just over the course, I think really just the last year, I bought a few sweaters from Target, and I was expecting them to be the quality of sweaters that I had purchased in the past, and they weren't. This is one of them. It's a really high polyester content, and it just pills like nobody's business. 74%, that's too much. I'm at a point in my life where I'm done growing. I've really kind of come to terms with what my style is. I have a really good idea of the things that I like and things that I'll wear on a regular basis. And when I do add new pieces to my clothing collection, I really need them to be things that are going to last longer than a year at least. There is just nothing more infuriating than wearing a sweater twice and having it look like it's older than you are. Moving on to 23, clothing for my 3-year-old. And I'm not counting shoes in this because he will 100% need new shoes or rubber boots at some point. But this sweet lad has just been beyond #blessed with hand-me-downs. And between his older brother and things that we get from friends, we are just bursting at the seams when it comes to small boy clothes. So I really want to see if over the course of the next year, can I clothe this boy without buying anything? And I'm very confident that I can. Obviously, I will not let him go without clothing, but like I said, there is a very high probability that everything that we have and probably will get will last us over the course of the next year and maybe even into 2026. But I don't want to talk about that because gosh, how is it already 2025? Alrighty, so number 24 and 25 are very specific to the trip to Hawaii that we might take at some point this year. And number 24 is vacation clothing that cannot follow me back to my everyday life. Now, while in the past, I used to basically buy an entire new wardrobe for when I would go on a trip. Now, at this moment in my life, I really try hard to just utilize what I have. But I would like to add a couple different things to my collection, especially when it comes to summer wear. I just want to be mindful of actually being able to utilize the clothing when I am back at home. And then 25, again, vacation related, souvenirs that will not serve a purpose or aren't consumable. So whatever I am bringing back with me, I need to be able to use it on a very regular basis, or I pretty much need to be able to eat it. Maybe a nice wooden spoon that I could use at home for cooking, and some chocolates. Probably some chocolate. Ooh, I was gonna say maybe some tea, but I already said no tea. But if it's a tea from a vacation, does that count? Alrighty. I probably should go up to item 26 and add baskets to this list of things that I shouldn't buy, but I will never do that to myself. So we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much for taking a chunk out of your day to hang out with me. Let's regroup in the comments. Let me know where you're from. I'm starting to get really curious about everybody's location. And then another thing, is there anything specific that you are putting on a no-buy list for the year? And do we have any items in common? Do you also have an unrealistic amount of tea in your kitchen? Alrighty, well that is all for real. I hope to see you in the next one. If you are not yet subscribed and you would like to be, you are invited. I'll see you next week. As always, I love you, have fun, and be kind.